Washington, I'm BDay in for Britt Hume. On a stunningly beautiful spring day here in Washington, tens of thousands of people lined a parade route and thousands more filled the south lawn of the White House as Pope Benedict XVI celebrated his 81st birthday and was officially welcomed to America. White House correspondent Wendell Goler reports.
Happy birthday, Holy Father.
With the largest White House crowd of his administration, President Bush officially welcomed Pope Benedict XVI to this country on the pontiff's 81st birthday. More than 13,000 people gathered on a sun-drenched south lawn for the first papal visit to the White House in nearly 30 years. It is Benedict's first U.S. visit since becoming Pope 3 years ago, and President Bush predicted he'll find a nation of prayer hungry for a message of hope.
In a world where some no longer believe that we can distinguish between simple right and wrong, we need your message to reject this dictatorship of relativism and embrace a culture of justice and truth.
The Pope was received as the Vatican's head of state with a military ceremony tailored for a man of peace. The only soldiers were musicians, and a performance by opera singer Kathleen Battle replaced the usual review of troops. The White House was decorated with U.S. and Vatican flags, the gardens replanted with yellow tulips to match the papal flags. The audience was filled with church officials and prominent Catholic leaders who've supported the Bush presidency and who cheered when he referred to the culture of life he's made a foundation of his presidency.
We need your message that all human life is sacred and that each of us is willed, each of us is loved.
The Pope, whose flock in this country is dealing with changing demographics and recovering from the priest sex scandal, said he was looking forward to meeting a great people and a great church.
I trust that my presence will be a source of renewal and hope for the Church in the United States and strengthen the resolve of Catholics to contribute even more responsibly to the life of this nation.
Aides say the two leaders' talks were private, without even senior advisors present, another way in which this visit was unique. The two men differ most notably on the war in Iraq. The Vatican opposed it from the start, and Pope Benedict said last year nothing positive comes from it. In his public comments, the president criticized what he's long contended is the distortion of Islam by extremists.
In a world where some invoke the name of God to justify acts of terror and murder and hate, we need your message that God is love.
Pope Benedict said Americans know from experience freedom is a summons to personal responsibility, but he also said democracy's victory over tyranny is not guaranteed to be the end of the story.
In a world without truth, freedom loses its foundation. And a democracy without values can lose its very soul.
The White House ceremony launched 5 days of papal events in Washington and New York. The Pope will say Mass at the Washington Nationals and New York Yankees baseball stadiums and say a prayer at Ground Zero for victims of the 9/11 attacks before returning to Rome on Sunday. The White House has for days been calling this a state visit, but just a short while ago, officials released word that the Pope's visit is just a visit. And what had been called a state dinner here tonight will be just a dinner. It's just as well the Pope won't be here. White House officials say he had a prior engagement, but Vatican officials say privately they made clear when this trip was planned the Pope rarely eats in public and would not be doing so here. Brett?
Yeah, Wendell, White House officials have been pretty tight-lipped about what happened behind closed doors, but any details behind the scenes?
Well, we did get a glimpse of a birthday celebration for the Pope today, Brett. I think we've got a picture, more than a glimpse, a picture of it. The president presented him with a lemon pound cake with lemon curd filling and vanilla fondant frosting. It's a gorgeous cake. You can see there, quite tasty, we're told by White House officials who did get a bit of a taste, but no word on whether the Pope had any. Brett?
All right, Wendell, thanks.